In 2007, Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino attempted one of the most ambitious experiments in modern cinema, Grindhouse. It was a 3-hour double-feature throwback to the exploitation films of the 70s, complete with fake trailers and damaged film prints. While Tarantino took the wheel for the slasher car thriller Death Proof, Rodriguez delivered the adrenaline-fueled, stomach-churning masterpiece known as Planet Terror. The plot? Pure, glorious chaos. In a rural Texas town, a rogue military unit releases a biochemical weapon, the DC-2 Project Terror, which turns the local population into pustule-covered, flesh-eating sickos. At the center of the storm is Cherry Darling, a go-go dancer who loses her leg in an attack, and her mysterious, wooden pallet-wielding ex-boyfriend, El Rey. It's a film that defines splatter cinema, blending dark comedy, extreme gore, and high-octane action. But making a movie look this bad on purpose took a staggering amount of technical genius. Today, we're peeling back the layers of infection. From the missing reel mystery to the mechanical secrets of the machine gun leg, here are 12 in-depth facts about the making of Planet Terror. Number 1. The high-tech filth. One of the biggest ironies of Planet Terror is that it looks like it was found in a dumpster, but it was actually a digital pioneer. Rodriguez shot the entire film on Sony Cinealta high-definition digital cameras. To achieve the shredded look, Rodriguez didn't just throw a filter over the footage. He treated the digital file like a physical object. He and his team spent months in post-production manually adding digital scratches, fake hair strands, and cigarette burns, the circles that signal a real change. But they went further. They simulated gate weave, which is the slight jittering of film in a projector. They even color-timed the movie to look like Eastman color film that had faded to a sickly magenta and yellow over 30 years. He wanted the digital medium to perfectly mimic the flaws of a physical 35mm print that had been played 1,000 times in a dusty theater. Number 2. The missing reel mystery. The missing reel is the film's most legendary gag. Right as Cherry and El Rey finally share a romantic moment, the film melts and jumps forward, leaving the characters in the middle of a massive explosion. While some fans thought this was a way to save on the budget, Rodriguez actually wrote the missing scenes in the script. He even filmed segments of them. However, he realized that the missing reel was the ultimate tribute to the Grindhouse experience, where theaters would often lose segments of film due to fire or theft. By skipping the boring exposition and jumping straight to the climax, he heightened the chaotic energy. In fact, if you watch the international version of the film, some of those scenes are restored, but most purists agree, the movie is better with the gap. Number 3. Tarantino's melting makeup. Quentin Tarantino doesn't just produce, he loves a good messy cameo. To create the effect of his character literally liquefying, the legendary KNB EFX group used a complex cocktail of silicone, syrup, and stage blood. Tarantino had to sit in the makeup chair for nearly 5 hours each day as the melting progressed. They used a build-up technique where layers of prosthetic skin were added and then melted away using heat and chemicals on a dummy head for the final shots. Tarantino reportedly stayed in character even while his prosthetic parts were falling off, and he encouraged the crew to make the scene as uncomfortable and gross as possible. Number 4. Anatomy of a sicko. The sickos in Planet Terror aren't your typical zombies. Rodriguez wanted them to look like they were suffering from a biological mutation. The makeup team actually started by researching real-world skin pathologies in chemical burn textbooks. However, they found that real medical imagery was almost too upsetting for the fun, campy tone of the movie. They decided to stylize the sickness, creating the bubble wrap look of the pustules. To make the blisters look wet on camera, they were constantly coated in a mixture of food coloring and thick lubricating jelly. This ensured that every time a sicko was hit, there was a visceral pop that satisfied the splatter movie aesthetic. Number 5. The machine gun leg mechanics. The image of Cherry Darling with a machine gun for a leg is iconic, but it was a logistical nightmare. It required 3 distinct versions of the leg. For close-ups, there was a detailed, heavy prop. For action sequences, McGowan wore a stunt cast, a green screen sleeve that allowed her to move and balance. Finally, the firing leg was 100% CGI. McGowan had to perform her stunts, including that incredible 360-degree flip, while balancing on a specialized peg that was later digitally replaced with the Bushmaster ACW. Because she had to favor one side, the production had to be careful with her physical health, ensuring the peg didn't cause real-world hip issues during the long shoots. Number 6. Bruce Willis and the 5-day shoot. Bruce Willis appearing as Lieutenant Muldoon was a massive surprise. Despite his A-list status, Willis filmed all of his scenes in just 5 days as a favor to Rodriguez. He worked alongside local Texas actors and didn't request any special treatment, fitting perfectly into the ensemble. Willis was so impressed by the speed of the shoot that he reportedly told Rodriguez he wished more big-budget movies functioned this way. By cutting out the Hollywood red tape, Rodriguez allowed Willis to give a performance that felt loose, menacing, and perfectly in line with the film's don't take it too seriously vibe. Number 7. The Machete trailer birth. We have to talk about the trailer that changed everything. The Machete fake trailer was placed between Planet Terror and Death Proof. Danny Trejo and Rodriguez had been talking about this character since 1993, but they never thought a studio would greenlight it. The audience reaction during the Planet Terror screenings was so intense, people were cheering louder for the fake trailer than for some real movies, that Rodriguez was essentially forced by the fans to make it a reality. It's one of the few times a joke in a movie was so successful it spawned a multi-film franchise of its own. Without the gritty foundation of Planet Terror, we might never have seen Machete lead his own film. Number 8. The real-life Doctor cameo. In a movie filled with over-the-top gore and fake science, there is one element that is surprisingly real. The character of Dr. Felix is played by Felix Sabates, who is a real-life emergency room doctor. Robert Rodriguez met him in an actual ER after one of his children had a minor accident. Rodriguez was so captivated by the doctor's natural charisma and seen-it-all attitude that he asked him to be in the movie. Dr. Sabates didn't just act, he helped consult on the medical dialogue. While the Project Terror gas is fictional, the way the doctors handle the initial chaos of the outbreak has a layer of authenticity that only a real trauma physician could provide. Number 9. The Troublemaker Speed. Rodriguez is famous for his one-man crew style, and Planet Terror was the ultimate test of his Troublemaker studios in Austin. Because he owns the facilities, he was able to build the hospital, the military base, and the town square all within walking distance of each other. This allowed the crew to shoot at a dizzying pace, sometimes completing 50 to 70 setups in a single day. In Hollywood, that's unheard of. This speed demon approach kept the energy high among the cast. There was no sitting around in trailers for hours. If you were on set, you were working. This frantic energy bleeds through the screen, giving the film its breathless, relentless pace. Number 10. The Fergie mechanical death. Pop star Fergie's appearance is one of the most memorable cameos in the film. Her character's brutal exit on the side of the road required a mix of high-end prosthetics and a mechanical dummy. Rodriguez wanted the sickos to look like they were literally tearing her apart. To achieve this, the effects team built a life-sized mechanical replica of Fergie that could be ripped by the actors playing the mutants. Fergie herself was a total sport about the process, even asking to keep some of the bitten prosthetic pieces as souvenirs. It's a classic example of the film's no-holds-barred approach to its cast. Number 11. The DIY soundtrack. Most directors hire a composer and check in once a month. Not Robert Rodriguez. He is a firm believer in the full-service approach to filmmaking. For Planet Terror, he wanted a score that sounded like a lost John Carpenter soundtrack. Heavy on the synthesizers and pulsing bass, he actually composed and performed many of these tracks himself in his home studio, but it went even deeper. The song You Belong to Me, which Rose McGowan's character performs in the club, was written by Rodriguez specifically for her. He realized McGowan had a great voice and thought it would add a layer of tragedy to Cherry Darling's character if the audience saw her dream before the world fell apart. This DIY musical approach saved millions in licensing fees and ensured the movie's vibe was 100% consistent from the visuals to the audio. Number 12. The Stairwell Homage. Finally, there's a deep cut fact for horror fans. The scene involving the character Tolo, played by legendary special effects artist Tom Savini, getting his finger bitten off and later his accident in the stairwell is a direct homage to Savini's own work in 1970s and 80s slasher films. Rodriguez wanted to honor the man who practically invented modern movie gore, having Savini on set as an actor, while the KNBEFX crew, who were Savini's real-life protégés, handled the makeup was a passing of the torch moment. It's the ultimate meta fact. The master of gore being subjected to the very kind of effects he pioneered decades earlier. Troublemaker. It brings the whole Grindhouse concept full circle. Planet Terror is more than just a zombie movie, it's a love letter to a forgotten era of cinema. It's a film that celebrates the flaws, the scratches, the missing reels, and the over-the-top gore that made the 70s exploitation era so visceral. Robert Rodriguez proved that you could use cutting-edge digital technology to capture the soul of an old-school film print. He turned his backyard in Austin into a battlefield and created a cinematic experience that feels like it's screaming at you from a drive-in screen at 2 a.m. It's loud, it's gross, and it's undeniably fun. So we have to ask, where does Planet Terror rank in your list of zombie movies? Do you prefer its chaotic, comic book energy over the more serious entries in the genre? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you want to see more deep dives into the weirdest and wildest corners of film history, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. This is Quintessential Screen, and remember, stay away from the DC too.